Yeah. I thought maybe I read it wrong and maybe it was chat.
It's 4:30. All right, let's call the meeting to order. It's now 4:30. Call the monthly meeting to order Tuesday, September 11th, 2018. And I'll entertain the approval of the agenda. Second. Any further discussion? Questions, comments? All in favor? Aye.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is a recognition. We have the Skills USA competition first off, and Ms. Howfield introduced, and Mr. Tanner.
Good afternoon. This afternoon, we'd like to recognize our Skills USA students. During the summer, more than 300 students, teachers, and administrators from Missouri were in attendance at the Skills USA National Leadership Conference in Louisville, Kentucky. In total, Missouri students brought back 30 first place, second, and third place medallions, and 106 Missouri students placed in the top 10 against students from all 50 states. And here in Sikeston, we had a few that were in that group, and so tonight we're going to recognize them. First, in collision repair, we had Curtis Barnett Jr., finished 8th place, not here. Cody Bassinger, television production, 8th place, not here. Hannah Carnell, advertising and design, 8th place. And here tonight is Colby Henson. As you can see with his medal around his neck, Kobe finished 2nd place in the nation in dye sublimation. So what a great honor, Kobe, for representing Sikeston in that, and I know you worked really hard for that. Next, we had Alexis McCutcheon, Career Pathways Showcase, 8th place. Couldn't be with us this afternoon. Sophia Maharis is with us. Sophia finished 8th place in the Career Pathways. Connor Nail, television production, 8th place, is not with us. And then Madison Riley. She finished 8th place in Career Pathways Showcase. She and Sophia were actually on a team together to finish 8th place. Sponsor and head advisor of this group is Brian Henson. For those of you that don't know, Brian and this Skills USA group, they do a lot throughout the year. They're involved in a lot of activities. They put in a lot of time and represent the Career and Tech Center as well as Sikeston School District. Great, and we just appreciate all you do. We know you go above and beyond, and thank you. The next group that I'm going to recognize tonight, we actually don't have any of them here, but I am going to go ahead and give you a little information about them and tell you who those individuals are. All-State Academic for baseball from the spring, last spring. Sikeston High School is proud to recognize 5 of their varsity baseball players for their academic success during the last school year sports season. 5 of them earned academic All-State honors for their accomplishments. They had to start in 70% of their games as a pitcher in the starting rotation. They had to have a score of at least 24 on their ACT, and they had to have a minimum GPA of 3.5. Of those individuals, we had Bryce Bays, obviously he's in college and couldn't make it back, Will Gilmer, Noah Hicks, Peyton Howard, and Clark Stewart. Several of those are either have graduated and are in college, or a couple are involved in fall sports and couldn't be with us. The coaches of that team, head coach Brett Collins, Steve Drake, Josh Hopkins, and Jacob May. I would also just like to tell you that the team as a whole finished with a 3.7 GPA combined. So that's a really good group of individuals that not only represented us well on the field, but also in the classroom.
Great, thank you. Okay, first item we have under informational is Mr. Chad King is going to present the SOAR program. So, Mr. King.
I think you guys have kind of got the little flyer. The leadership Sikeston got with me this last summer, and basically they go, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it or not, but they take some of the new professionals and some of the young business folks, and they take them around to the different businesses throughout the town and do like an all-day tour, and they'll tour all the businesses, and just to kind of get an idea of what resources are really out there. Well, this group also has to come up with a little project every year, and last year's group came up with the idea after touring our facilities, they always come to our facility, to do the same thing as Leadership Sikeston, but with a high school version. So they called me, and I brought Brian Lindsay was with us, Brian Henson, and Brent Frankler, and we sat down and discussed kind of what their ideas were, and they've kind of pretty much gone from there. I'm supplying the material, being the kids, myself and those other teachers. But the topics, they've already got it all lined out. We just haven't got the exact times lined out yet, but we're going every month except for December and May. The first one, they're going to get together at the YMCA and work on, soft skills and team building and resume writing, things like that. They're going to go tour First State Bank, going to the Matthews Gym. They're going to do First Medical Group, Do It Best, and Allen Wire, and then they're going to go Southeast Correctional.
First State Community Bank, but not Community, correct?
Say that again.
They're coming to my bank, actually, First State Community Bank, but I don't know what's correct.
That's what I said.
First State Bank.
First State Community Bank. My bad.
Shameless plug.
We're going to do 10 kids. If this program is successful, we'll probably grow it and keep going from there. Really, this is Leadership Sikeston's deal. We're just kind of providing them with what they need, and transportation. I'll drive a bus if need be, and we'll get the kids out there, and just so they can kind of get an idea of what the community has to offer. I kind of focused on kids that are college bound, some that are tech school bound, and some that don't know what they want to do yet. Just to try to get a good mix right there. And I also focused on kids I knew that were going to participate and not just, just kind of be there to get out of school. So it's going to be a good thing, I think.
Did they have to apply to say that I'm interested?
Not this time. No, because it was just those through that group, myself and the group of 3 teachers. We handpicked this round because we're going to this is all trial. It's trial and error coming in, and then we're going to hone it in from there. Okay.
So are any from sending schools, or are they all from our schools?
All from our school. Okay. That's just for ease purposes. That's something we'll definitely, if it goes well, and the leadership, Sikeston leadership wants to keep doing that, then yeah, we'll involve those folks as well.
Any questions for Mr. King?
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, next we have the Kindergarten Center Achievement Update. Ms. Cardwell is here with us, the academic leader there. Mr. May.
Yes, he is. He's handing out some data that you can look at as we go if you'd like. The end of the year benchmark we had last year for reading was 86.1. We want 90% of the buildings. We're always striving to do better. For math was 80%, and again, we always want 90. And we can get there, so we always try to strive for better there. Our DRA, which is a reading assessment that we do at Christmas, and we also do that again at the end of the year. You can see the levels of 3s went from 40.5 at semester to 85% at the end of the year, and then 6% of level 4s, and then we made that go up to 60%. Some things that we're going to continue to do right now this year is everyone is following the daily 5 reading stations along with the new reading series. We have ABC boot camp for 26 days. Eureka Math, we're continuing. We're continuing our speech improvement program. Our PBS is in their 4th year of Tier 2. Obviously, this would be the part Ms. Hobeck would chime in and give you all the data. So I do have some things that she'd like for you to know. That in 2016-17, we had 338 referrals. But then last year we had 117 less. So we had 35% decrease in referrals last year. So we had 324 positive office referrals with 221 office referrals. So instead of having all those negative referrals, we made phone calls to parents.
congratulated the kids for doing something good. Either I would make the phone call or she would make the phone call, whoever was available to call the parent or that child, praise them for being good. So we had more of those than we did the actual office referrals, which is what our goal is, to always have more of those. Some new things that we have for this year, because we always see a need for change sometimes. We have Ames Web Plus as a whole K4 Ames Web Plus. It is a lot more detailed than our Ames Web, and you will see then on that beginning of year benchmark, the very first box up there on your left, that our beginning of year data is 32.5% have benchmarked in reading, and then only 39.6% in math. And you can see that is significantly lower than in previous years for benchmark. And Ames Web has increased the numbers to 20 for math, not 0 to 10. So therefore, kids were coming in knowing 0 to 10, but not 0 to 20. So that's why you're going to see that decrease there. But hopefully we'll see a trend that they come in the same like we did with the old Ames Web. We always came in within the same range, ended within the same range as well. We have new in our building, a sensory room that's utilized by the district. We have Ready Gen, which is the new reading series. Our writing plans are being revamped for that Ready Gen because it is much more explicit and the grammar is embedded into the writing, so that makes it flow a whole lot better than what it used to. Our comprehension through that reading series is a lot more in depth, with a lot more close reading, where they continuously go back and look at different pages in depth and ask in-depth questions on a day-to-day basis. We've revamped the math pacing guide to include 2 STEM days per month, along with 1 day per month that they do organized game days. We realized the children do not play games at home anymore, so we felt that that was a needed for kindergarten to learn how to take turns, play a game, and just roll the dice or something like that with a game, a board game. So we've utilized that 1 day a month. And then we've also added science and social studies objectives to specific days of the calendar where they were not embedded into the reading and math.
Any questions, Ms. Cardwell?
What do you do?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What do you do with the sensory?
It is utilized, we have, you to answer? Okay. We have 4 students who come from other buildings from the district that come in the morning. Then they stay in 2 hours. Then we have some kiddos from our own special education classroom that come and utilize the room because they need that sensory break. We also have friends from the afternoon that the same teacher services as our SPED teacher. So she's half-day sensory, half-day SPED teacher. But she has also been a great resource. So any child who doesn't even have a plan that has some sensory needs or needs to know how to, stay in a classroom and have a fidget toy, you go to her, she has it. She's been, I believe, utilized throughout the district by even some of the other buildings. They've contacted her, asking her, if you have this in your room, can we borrow it? And so that's been sent out to the other buildings.
You mentioned the benchmark, the students that benchmark is less, and then I lost me after that. I was just curious. You're right, because it does seem a little lower than years past.
The test was a lot more in depth than
It's a different test.
It's a different test this year, and it is a lot more in depth than the previous Ames. We did Ames Web, now it's Ames Web Plus. It has a lot more components, a lot more detailed information, and we're able to actually. We just finished it. We did our data meetings on Friday, and we have found we've been able to pick out kids a little bit better on what they really do and do not know.
Any other questions for Ms. Cardwell?
Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Herzog is going to present the Matthews Focus Accountability Plan update. Crystal?
All right, so for the September update, we'll let you know that the preliminary focus plan has been approved. It'll be modified once we obtain the 2017-18 MAP scores in sometime in October. Are they still saying that? Okay. Something else, we're in year 3 of being a PLC school, and that came about due to being a focus school. The PLC leadership team meets twice monthly. We attend PLC trainings for CMO about 5 times a year, and then there are 2 administrative meetings that I also attend. We have been working on SMART goals in the past and priority standards. And what we're doing right now is we're updating our building SMART goals, updating our building level goals. We have been working as a district on CFAs. That's one really good thing that's gone from being a first we were a collaborative works school, which had to do with another grant that was actually funded by special education, but then it kind of meshed into what we were doing for PLC also with the common formative assessments. Well, now, since the district is a Missouri model district, now we're working on common formative assessments across the buildings. So it's really, we have common formative assessments for ELA and math, 1st through 4th grade, that are consistent. So that's really good across the buildings to be able to really look at data and see how we're doing. Again, priority standards. They started out being priority standards for our building. We're in the process of getting priority standards that are the same throughout the district. At the end of last year, we worked as a district to get consistent priority standards in 3rd and 4th grade, in ELA and math, and now we've got to kind of do the same thing for 1st and 2nd grade. So that's where we are with that. We're using unit assessments, CFAs. We continue to meet. We have grade level collaboration. We have it at least once a week where teachers get together. They plan instruction. They analyze student data, and it just helps them to drive future instructional practices. Right now is part of the funding that we get from being a focus school. We're participating in a book study. It started out as a book tasting, and what that is that I provided with 3 different books that they could choose from. And I did this at the back-to-school in-service, and so they had a few minutes to look at each of those books, and then they could select the book of their choice that they felt like would be most interesting to them to do a book study on. So the 3 books that we're doing a book study on this semester are Teach Like a Pirate, Lost at School, and Fostering Resilient Learners, Strategies for Creating a Trauma-Sensitive Classroom. So I feel like we're going to get a lot of information from that. And so we'll take that, the little groups, I let everybody pick what they wanted. And so I ordered the books, and so I'll divide, once the books come in, we'll divide them into those groups. I'll make the groups as small as possible so they can really get into the book together. And then they'll present at different staff meetings and at PD days to just kind of share the information that they've learned with everybody. Also, we are still a PBIS school. We are in Tier 2. This is our 2nd year at Tier 2, and it's Tier 2 sustained. Mr. Jenkins and the PBIS leadership team members, they meet once monthly to review discipline data, review behavior expectations and procedures, and plan lessons that target behaviors. A few of them went to the PBIS conference this summer, and they brought back some really good information. And so we're in the process of revamping a few things within the building based on what they learned at that conference. And the last thing is our theme for this year is growth mindset. And so we're also going to be doing a PD on that. And growth mindset is basically when individuals believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. So brains and talent are just a starting point. So for example, instead of saying, I'm no good at math, or when kids are it's really easy for everybody to get discouraged if there's something that they're not good at. And so it's just kind of teaching the students and ourselves that just because you're maybe not the best at it at the beginning, through practice and dedication to really trying to improve, you can see growth. So that's what we're trying to push with our kids this year. And that's all.
I know the results aren't in. We still have a favorable opinion of our scores that will.
Well, I'm not real sure. I'll be honest, I'm not real sure. When I talked to the teachers, they didn't feel like that the kids did as well as they had done the year before. One thing that we did differently that I'm kind of worried about, and we were trying to comply with what Desi had to say. The year before, we had a lot of students who had the text, the teacher read the text, and it's totally fine. But we were trying to get away from having to do that so widespread. For one thing, it's expensive, and we also didn't want to do it any more than we absolutely had to. So throughout the year, we talked about, okay, who really needs this universal tool, and who could probably do this test if they had the test read to them by like a computerized reader within the test. So we went with the computerized reader within the test. The problem is that computerized reader was extremely boring. And they
No
weren't.
Southeast Missouri slang.
No, exactly. And so we found the kids off task a lot, those kids that we would have been, in small group testing. So honestly, I'm very worried about that. I don't know that we're going to see as great as we saw the year before. But now I still see really good things going on. I'm not trying to be a downer. I do have that fear. So all we can do is just take the results and go from there.
And you had shown a lot of growth the year before.
Yes,
So I think
yes.
that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to grow like that
I
every
don't want
year.
to jinx ourselves, but I'm cautiously optimistic that even if we see a slight decrease in scores, we should hopefully still meet that exit target.
So I guess that's where I was going. Ultimately, we need that. If we don't, then we reset the clock. So
Reset it.
Right.
They have 3 years.
But we met it by a lot last year,
Yeah.
so we have a little bit of padding there. Hopefully it's enough.
Yeah, and that will still be, it's a 3-year average. That big increase last year will still factor in.
And every year they say that we're not going to have focus schools anymore. I mean, for the last 2 years they said we're no longer going to have focus schools. You're no longer going to have money. You're no longer, it's not going to be in existence. They're going to revamp the system. And then for the last 2 years they've gone and still had it. So we're still going towards, that goal, but we never know whether it's going to actually be here next year or not.
Any questions for Ms. Hartzog? Thank you. We have the summer 2018 maintenance report, and Mike Brown is here with us. I'm glad you can make it, Mike. And
This is the last time we're going to see.
yeah, it's the last one for us.
This is it. I want to say thank you so much to all of you that I've had a chance to work with, not just this board, but every board, has been so supportive of our department. I've never ever came in here and felt like that I didn't lead with everything that we were trying to get done for the district. And you guys have just been great to us, and I appreciate it so much. I'm not a good speech maker. I just hope you can hear from my heart that I really have enjoyed working for Sikeston Schools. It's been a blessing to my family, and bittersweet by all means. So
You've been such an asset to us. You always know that when you come in here, that you've done all the homework, you know all the information, and that we can trust what your opinion is.
I appreciate that. I've always tried, and we'll be passing the baton on to Mr. Bowes to carry it on, and you're in good hands there too. I don't know if he's afraid or looking for smokes. But it's been a great time here, and one of the things that through this year, I tried to target Southeast Elementary as our focus school, and we always, if we can, try to target one specific one and do a little bit of extra work there.
We're not a focus school. We're
Different focus.
focusing on that.
No.
From the maintenance standpoint, we
Yes, there you go.
The one thing that we had to make a little bit of change in, the sidewalks that were around the building were originally 4 foot, and that's what we were going to do, just tear those out and go back to 4 foot sidewalks. But when we started to do the demolition, it was so rotten they had used low-grade concrete in there that you couldn't break it out into big chunks. It just crumbled up. So we had to actually get in there and scoop it out with the tractor rather than pick it up in big chunks. So we had to widen it, and I thought, shoot, boy, we've got the ground tore up this far. It'd be foolish for us not to make the project better and go ahead and do an 8-foot sidewalk. So we did that while we were at it. Ended up having to do a little dress up with the sod. It's coming along right in time for the winter kill. But anyways, over there we were able to get sidewalks in. The doors are almost complete. I think we still have 3 doors yet to finish over there. And I think those look really good. And the good thing is that they all work. The others were scary because we were afraid we were going to get somebody trapped in a room. But we've almost got the doors done. We've changed out quite a few whiteboards over there, trying to get as many of those replaced as possible. I think we're 99% there, if not all the way, getting the whiteboards done. There were 2 HVAC units that had past their life expectancy, and they were still hammering away, so we actually got to replace those while we were there. And all across the district, I think you guys hopefully noticed that our grounds have been in better shape from a mowing standpoint. We hired David Whitten just a short time back, and he's done a tremendous job of staying on top of it. And he's just a hard worker. You can't even get him to stop, take a break hardly. He's been a great asset to the district. And if you see him around, make sure you give him an attaboy for that. Just so you have an idea of how much mulch goes on, I put that number on there. There was 144 truckloads of mulch delivered this summer. And for the past 2 years, we've hired Bowman Brothers to bring in a couple guys to help spread it. We were doing that ourselves as well as spreading it before. You got to get out there with a pitchfork and shovel it all around once you get it dumped in place. But Larry was quite happy about that when we hired a couple guys to take care of that part of it. All across the district, we're still doing the camera upgrades, trying to get rid of some of the old technology there and replace them with the IPs, trying to get more card access in place and some interior cameras in places where we don't have any at all. And that's just continually going to be an ongoing thing. The work orders I put in the last 5 years there, just so you have an idea of kind of how they compare. It kind of goes up and down. Just depends on what's going on. And I put there that we had 140 outstanding. That doesn't mean that we did a real good job on those. That means that there's still not completed yet. But we were able to get the new roof on central office here. I was concerned that we were going to have a good wind and it was going to be in Charleston or somewhere. And they were crumbling really bad. And so we kept Tommy away for a few days there to pound him above his head. At the high school, we were able to finish getting the asphalt coating complete. We didn't put carpet on the carpet. We were able to get the asphalt coating completed. That made a big difference in the looks of that. And the one thing I'd like to kind of talk about here is a solar project. I was actually planning on leaving the district around Christmas time, but things just fell into place much quicker, and so I didn't get to But a couple of years ago, I was at some conferences, and everybody was coming and sharing their success stories that they had had with putting solar in their facilities and the amount of energy that they were able to save and dollars that it related back to the district. And as I kind of started doing some homework on that, found some local people to talk to on that, and did some people from Alabama and Texas, and I actually put Georgia on there. I don't know where I come up with Georgia when I was typing, but it was from Alabama and Texas. We had some vendors that turned in some bids for us, and before I kind of get on that, we actually had 3 meetings with BMU. We were originally wanting to try to put in a solar field or a solar farm and have one lump sum credit that would be taken off of our bill. But and they were actually the ones who kind of gave us that idea originally, but then they kind of had to back up on it when they got to realizing that that could kind of open up a can of worms that would stab them in the back somewhere down the road. So the law allows us to do 100 kilowatts per meter at each site. And so they were very helpful in giving us information on how we could go about getting that done. And we asked these vendors to give us the best project they could do for the school district as to where we could get the most savings. And they took all of our records that we had over electrical usage and determined where our best places to put the solar panels would be. And these are all ground mount systems, and none of these would be on the roof. There's lots of issues that when you try to mount them on the roof. But
Like on a pole or something like that?
that would be just sitting on the ground, just a few feet off the ground, and then they would have a 6-foot fence that perimeter all of them to keep them protected.
If you go on 55, just slightly north of Perryville on the left, there's a solar farm there. And pretty much what he's talking about. It's almost sitting on the ground slightly.
Before the goat?
Yeah, before the goat.
So do you have a place in mind or an area in mind where you would put this solar farm?
In your board packet that we sent out, there should be, the solar farm we can't do because of issues that it would create. If BMU allowed us to do that,
Well, the panels, I guess, is what.
the panels would be at each school site.
Okay.
And on the drawings that I sent you, the diagrams, there is a general area.
I didn't have a diagram.
Those did not come? I apologize for that. I thought those were attached with that, so. I will send those to you tomorrow.
Could those not be mounted on the buildings, either on the roof or attached to the building?
You can. The problem with the roof mount system is, first of all, warranty of your roof. And if you're halfway through the life cycle of the roof, then you're going to have to tear it loose again to replace your roof, to put the system back on. The only place they really recommend doing those, and they cause some leaks too if they're not installed correctly, is if you have a standing seam roof system and you're putting it on new. So you've got like 30 years there that you're not going to have to be moving anything. But if you have an existing roof system, they recommend, everything I've seen so far is that you do a ground mount system. Pretty much junior high, I think, would be our primary school that would give us the most benefit. Actually, there's 2 or 3 of them that we would get some real good benefit. And on this sheet that I gave you, the 2 systems that were turned in, the first company in a 20-year cycle was looking at a $1.5 million savings to the district, and the other company was looking at a $1.3 million in 20 years. We would own the system. This would be a lease purchase system. We would own it at the end of 20 years. And at that point, all of the energies that it's creating, we're getting full benefit from. We're looking at a system that's flexible and designed so that later on, if the utilities continue to increase, we can actually go back and add on to the system very easily. We can actually even go in and split the system that we're part of it's outside the meter and part of it's inside the meter. That's a long discussion, but it would give us some more benefit, even a compounded benefit, if we would be able to do that. The greatest part of all this is that there would be no cash out of the district's pocket, no capital outlay. It would all be self-funding, just like the performance contract that we did a few years ago. So we wouldn't be spending a penny. It has to pay. It pays for itself.
So they take their fee out of the savings?
Every bit of it comes out of it. Yes, it generates its own payment, and it actually makes a cash flow, immediately. So it's not at the end of the cycle we would get the benefit. It would start making, a few $1,000s a year right off the bat. I think everybody's heard that we've had a projected increase from BMU, 12% over the next 3 years. Just being able to hedge that in the future of keeping those rates at a consistent level for us is going to be a good thing. But I wish, like everything, I was able to stay and get this project done. And I told Dink, or Mr. Bowe, excuse me, I told him that anything I can do to help, and same with any of you, if you need me on the phone, I'll be glad to help. Anyways, I think it would be a great thing for the district. I would hope that you could set up maybe a committee or have them come present to the board either way. I think in 15 minutes' time they can give you a real good story of what we could do for the district and the numbers that would help us with.
Like, what kind of lifespan do they give you on those systems that
They're projecting on all the new panels now a 40-year life. Just a few years ago, they were given 30-year lifespan on them. The technology on them has increased very good on them. The cost of the panels has come down. The output of the power that they make each panel now has increased. I think it was like 30% in the last 3 or 4 years. There's quite a bit of difference in what they do. So with this one company in particular, Southern Solar, we've talked with them. For 10 years, it doesn't cost the district a penny because it's warranty for 10 years. And so you don't spend a penny if they have to come back and work on it. They've had some systems already in place, I think for 6 or 7. And I think he told me the other day that there hasn't been one customer yet they've had that's had to spend $1 after they've put it in. So,
So assuming they last 40 years, after the first 20, we would reap all the benefit then?
yes, sir.
That's essentially how that,
Yes, sir.
well, I got a simple mind, I just gotta make sure that that's what.
Well, one thing too is, I didn't try to project this out, but we actually have a table that we present to you that shows in the 40-year time span. Because at the end of 20 years is when you really start making your money on it. But in 40 years, we can see how many, it'd be several $1 million that we would come up out of this.
So the farm itself will actually be on school property.
Well, originally when we spoke with B&U about it, we could do it on our property, and we'd even looked at maybe doing it on their property. But they just had to back off on that because of the issues that it would raise for them. They're pursuing some things right now with solar. They're trying to find out what they can do.
But that doesn't stop us from doing it. They just prefer not to do the net metering.
Well, they don't mind at all doing the net metering, but the way the law says it's 100 kilowatt per meter. It's my understanding there's two.
So it's the cap on the generation that it's going to give, but that's the challenge.
And it's also per site. And that was kind of the other thing that kind of tied our hands there. If we could have done a cumulative of 20 meters and gone to one place and done the 20 kW, it would have been a great benefit because you got it all in one place. It's easier, quicker.
I think some of it, or I really want to speak for everybody, I read about the ones, well, I got $30 back from my electric company. That's not the case, I assume, in commercial, where we could generate, theoretically, we could generate more power than we used and sell it back. But you're saying statutorily there's a cap on that number, correct?
There's a cap on there that we get the best benefit for. We could make it, as big as we want, but the extra power that it generates, we get a very small amount on our return for the dollar. So what both companies are recommending that we build it just right under the amount that we're currently using. Don't try to build it extra. Now, later on, if they have demand charges or other things that changes the dollars we would spend, we may want to come in and add to the system. But that's the good thing about it. It's not an all at once expenditure. You can do it later.
And then keep in mind too is that so essentially net metering is that excess power that you're selling back, you get credits for. The credits that you receive for that is at a wholesale rate, not a retail rate.
Gotcha.
So you have to keep that in mind too when you're looking at what you're going to get back from that excess power.
Any other questions for Mr. Brown?
I mean, at a minimum, having some percent.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I mean, I talked to Mike about this years ago, and at the time, the cost of electric in the city kind of precluded any kind of system like this. So now things are changing.
And I want to say thank you to B&U too, because they were very helpful in helping me get information here. Because they weren't at all trying to keep me from doing what I was wanting to do, being like the enemy at all. They were very helpful in giving us information that would help us save money for the district, even though it can cost them money in the process.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you so
Service.
much.
Thank you for your service, Mike.
See ya. Thank you. We have Ms. Thompson is going to present the communication report.
Okay, I'm going to start off with a little bit of data. I put the wrong years at the top of the website data, but basically for the 16-17 school year, our website had about 1,800,000 hits. For last year alone, we had 2,040,000 hits, so it continues to be performing very well. Our parent resources, our student resources, and our staff resources are, best used pages. For Facebook, we have about 3,100 followers. Twitter, we have about 1,500, and then we have Instagram now, and so we have 485 followers as of today for that. To go over my plan for last year, one of the plans was we did the survey right before school started, and I took all of the open comments that we took from that survey, and I kind of quietly throughout the year ticked off every comment that I could make a change. So if they said, we're having trouble locating this information, I tried to make it more noticeable on the website. Or if they said, you're not emphasizing the extracurriculars enough on social media, I tried to do that. So I went through that survey one by one and tried to do that, take all those comments. We also continue to do our Sikeston standard of customer service. Ms. Hallfield addressed the secretaries of the summer in-service, and they all felt like it was going very well. We wanted to continue with the same standard as we had last year, so we'll just be building on that. The building progress, we did create the website for Wing Elementary. We've been doing videos here and there, pictures. So that took care of itself, basically.
We want to also thank DPS for giving us our camera back.
Yes.
Thank you.
They had to use our camera for an investigation, so thank you for giving it back to us, with all the footage except for the school slice, so. No offense whatsoever. The communications plan was the one thing that I did not get to finish, or we did not get to finish. There was just a lot going on last year, and we had reconstructed or restructured job duties downstairs, so it just kind of became something that got put on the back burner, but I will be working on that this summer. Let's see, a few other things that we did implement last year were Mr. Williams' 3 things you need to know, and that's basically an email that goes out to our entire staff, usually on Monday morning or Monday at some point during the day, and it is basically just events that our employees need to know about, maybe some good news, our employees or students have done something really great, or just encouragement along the way, because sometimes our staff needs that. So we produced the Meet the Jackson video. So Jackson, our therapy dog, we made a little video so that Kristen Rayford could go into the buildings and show the videos to the students, so they kind of knew what was going on. We also created the Stop Bullying webpage. This year we will actually build on or add on to that. We'll do the suicide awareness webpage. Hope to have that done before the end of this month. And then we also added Instagram, like I said before. So my plans for 2018-19 are to, again, work on the communication plan. That is my biggest goal this year, is to get that completed. We will do another survey just to see how we've improved and what we can continue to improve on as far as communications. We'll continue the building progress. We get to start doing aerial photos soon. We're going to use the drone. They've even offered to put me up in a scissor lift so we can get overview photos, so that's very exciting. We'll be doing a ribbon cutting, obviously, and we will be doing an open house at Matthews right before Wing opens. We'll be doing kind of an alumni, everybody who's ever had anything to do with Matthews. This was their idea. They completely wanted to do it, so we thought it was a great idea, and we're kind of jumping on board with them. And then we'll have an open house, obviously, at Wing Elementary before it opens. One of my very most exciting things was I heard of a couple other districts that had student representatives for the Board of Education. And so over the summer, Mr. Williams and I kind of researched it, and there's only about 3 or 4 other districts in the whole state of Missouri that have student representatives for the board. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to do, and we have Ms. Rory James. She has been elected within the student council. She was already on the student council, and they elected her to be the student representative. So she's a junior, and we're hoping that she will stay on this year and next year, so we have one consistent person for a couple of years. And the whole point of this is basically just to bridge that communication between you all and the students themselves. So she won't present at every meeting or anything like that, but if they do have something that they want to bring to you, she will present it to you. And then if anything ever comes up that you all maybe want a student perspective on, she will be the one that you can ask. So we're very excited about that.
Fantastic.
Very good.
the last thing on my goals was marketing. I really want to do a folder basically that has all of our school information as far as data, how to apply online, how to pay schedules, anything like that for anybody that may want to work for Sikeston. We have the Grow Your Own program, and then Lisa Vaughn.
Yes, Lisa Vaughn and myself.
Lisa Vaughn goes out to like the job fairs at SEMO and TRCC and beyond, and we just really want to have those folders available for her to give out to make us stand out in the crowd. And then one last thing is we're going to try to get a welcome packet out to all our real estate agencies here in town that just has similar information but for parents that are looking to live here in Sikeston.
Sir, can I add one piece of information about your Grow Your Own? We just had our first Grow Your Own student placed as a teacher here in the district this semester, and we have 3 going to be placed next semester. So that she's done a good job of marketing that with SEMO.
That's so necessary.
Yeah.
Do we post our meetings and the agenda on the website too? Somewhere?
Yes. Because you all have your own.
Under school board?
Yes, it's the Board of Education, and then on there, all of the agendas are on there, and they're on there, I believe, a week prior to, and then the video is uploaded the next day.
From the evening, right?
Yes.
I'd like to put Ms. James on the spot right off the bat. What interests you about being a student representative on the Board of Education?
I think that it's really important to have somebody here. There's not always the open communication where we don't always hear the board's opinions on things, you don't always hear ours, so I think it's really important to have that where we can ask each other questions and communicate and go on. And it's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Roy. Thank you.
Next item on the list is the student enrollment as of September 1st, 2018. Our enrollment is 3,361, which is the exact same spot we were in September 2017. We're down 39 students from August, but at the same time, we're up 86 students from April of 2018. Questions on our enrollment?
You can stop running them all.
I don't think it was me. Next item is the student discipline data. That information is in your packet. We list the ISS, OSS. We also have broken down by building, description, days, gender, ethnicity, and also special education. Okay, next we have board policy consideration. Let me tell the board that we will be reviewing these board policies on October 4th during our work session. That will give us an opportunity to sit down and discuss these. So we have several. We have 12 here that I'm going to list, and between now and October 4th, I encourage you all to take notes so we can discuss these during that time period. We have, first off, DC, which is taxing and borrowing authority and limitations. We have DJFA, which is federal programs and projects. GCPE, termination of professional staff members. GDPE, non-renewal and termination of support staff members. IGAB, instructional interventions. IGBA, which is special education. IGBC, parent and family involvement and engagement. IGBCA, programs for homeless students. IGBCB, programs for migratory students. IGBE, students in foster care. IGBH, programs for English learners. IGC, which is extended instructional programs. Like I said, we will review those most definitely for the and put that down on your calendar too for October 4th at 5 o'clock. We will be having a work session for that time. Carrie should have sent out a calendar invite or notice on that, or a calendar we received in August. Okay, we're ready to go into required action. Immediately following this meeting, I request permission to schedule an executive session to discuss student matters.
I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Canfield?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Brubaker? Yes. Yes.
Okay, second item there is consideration establishment of 2018-2019 tuition rates. Ms. Boardman?
As the board knows, this is a calculated rate that we set every year. It's required by statute that we set it every year. The current year's tuition is based on the prior year expenditures. The calculation takes into consideration annual expenditures for all areas of instruction, excluding our career and tech, because that really inflates the numbers, and deducts from this expenditure total revenues received from student activities, title funding, and special ed funding. And then the balance is divided by the average daily attendance from the prior year. So when we did the calculations this year, there was an increase from the previous year of $590. We're requesting that you set the rate at $7,446 for this school year.
This recommendation set the tuition rate at $7,446.
I move we accept the recommendation of the administration to set the tuition rate for 7,446.
Second. Motion and a second. Further discussion? Questions, comments?
How many people are paying tuition?
You know, I was going to ask if the staff meeting was going last year. We had one, and I had not, his mother has not contacted me, and normally she wants to know what the rate is. So I'm not sure if he's still enrolled. We will double check now that the rate has been set, and we'll reach out to them. So last year we just had one paying student going for the elementary level.
I have a motion and a second. Further questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you. We have consideration of E-rate technology enhancement projects, and I have a new tech director here, Mr. Steve Sparlin. He is going to present this information. Steve, you have
This is my first one of these. I thought I'd just come up here and tell y'all I'm Steve Sparlin. I'm the new director of technology. It's nice to meet you. Good to see you here. Addressing a group of people is something that makes me a little nervous, so I'm probably going to be down in my paper a little bit, but I'm going to try to be brief. I'm very proud to be here and have an opportunity to serve our community as part of this district. So
we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. So what the technology department has for you today is to consider this year's portion of what's been an ongoing technology enhancement for network infrastructure, which we have been approved for E-rate funding on. This was started several years ago. It's been an ongoing project. We've been approved for this funding. It was filed for by Eddie, and I fully support moving forward with that if the board decides to do so. I think you've got some notes and figures in your packet, and I'm not going to read that to you, but just remind you of what you already know. We have been approved this project. We paid a total up front. This year it's all equipment. There's no labor installation. The technology department will install all these things. So once we get these things in, we'll bill for them. The district will pay for them, and we'll then file for reimbursement of USAC, and we'll be paid the 80% portion that E-rate pays. The total for all the projects combined across all the buildings is $167,423.40. And after all is said and done, that costs the district $33,484.68.
Are we, I noticed there were two, or whatever, things for Matthews.
Yes.
Is that in the old or the new building?
So the Matthews building will become Wayne Elementary as far as E-rate is concerned.
Okay.
So that's currently for Matthews, and there's some stuff built in there that is going to be needed for Wayne.
Okay.
So these are items that we buy from Matthews this year. We can take them over to.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's where I was going to.
And in fact, there's a little additional equipment in there that can go to Wayne. We can, under E-rate, we can purchase it for Matthews, put it at Matthews, and it's intended for use at Wayne. You know, Wayne's going to need a little more here, so we can build that in.
Maybe I drift this, but Scott, or those been here on the board for a while, I thought E-rate was going away.
It has somewhat. There's been some programs that have been cut.
It's changed a lot. Okay, it's changed a lot. They're not paying, what they used to on telephone service, for example. And what's something I've got to learn, what's going to happen with E-rate, it's heavily based on your free and reduced count. And with the program we've got going, we're providing a free lunch and breakfast to so many more students now under that program. I don't know how that's affected by E-rate. So that's something I've got to get smart on. Let's see how that's going to affect the future.
So with the Matthews building, you're enhancing current equipment or current Wi-Fi or?
Yes.
Right. And how long will that take to do all this in Matthews? Like what do you think the timeline is?
To get it installed and working.
So you have all this that you're going to do. Where does Matthews fall in that time?
It's something we would try to get tackled this year. Now Matthews, there will be some additional equipment that will get installed at Wing, so that wouldn't get done until we actually move. But the switches and access points that we're asking for, it's an improvement on the existing gear, and we would look to do that just as soon as we can.
The timeline for that, Glenn, for a lot of the things you're talking about is not until this spring or even early summer, okay? Although the timeline has somewhat moved up to about 3 weeks, it could go back another 3 weeks depending on the weather, but right now we're in good shape. But what he's talking about, the technology is going to start taking place and the technology implementation, I guess, for lack of better words, will start this spring.
Okay. So we're going to go into Matthews, current Matthews building, and we're going to make improvements, and then we're going to take some of that equipment out and put it into the new wing element.
Right.
I guess my question would be, why spend that time and money doing that in the old building if you're just going to take it out and put it in the new building? If it's going to be the spring, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm asking.
If I'm understanding this correctly, though, you cannot apply it to the current wing, right? Because it doesn't exist.
We to abide by guidelines, we have to put that in.
So we can go to wing or to Matthews and then take it out, and then that becomes.
It just, on the surface, it just seems like a little waste of resource energy if you're just going to move that anyway. But I understand.
But to comply, you have to.
We have to.
Okay.
Well, we're talking about $25,000, $26,000 worth of equipment. Your cost to move that is going to be anywhere near that, I guess. Once it's installed over Matthews, it's not going to cost you that much to move it.
It'll be us doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. So the district's paying our salaries. It costs us the time to do it. We'll spend less time moving our stuff than maintenance. We'll spend moving the rest of the building. But it will. It'll be a project for us to put all wireless, especially wireless access points. Because you kind of have to figure out the placement so that things work in the most efficient manner. Because when you've got a whole lot of wireless devices talking to an access point, and then there's one next door, and there's one next door, that's got to be finely tuned so that things work well. Otherwise, you have a lot of headaches. So that's part of it.
It's a recommendation to go ahead and consider the E-rate technology enhancement project.
Make a motion to approve those enhancement projects.
Motion and a second. Further discussion for Mr. Sparrow. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, and
Appreciate
welcome aboard.
Very nice to meet you. Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Appreciate you being a little kind to him today with those questions. Next item is consideration of the FY19 budget adjustment. Ms. Morgan?
The budget adjustment goes along with what was just presented on E-rate, because if you'll remember, the budget you adopted in June had a big tagline at the bottom that said, we don't know what we're going to be approved for E-rate, so we'll come to you later, and what it is now. So on this, as Steve alluded to, the total cost for all projects is $167,423.40. So that total amount has to be added to the bottom line of expenditures, but on the revenue side of things, then we will add $133,938.72, leaving us just spending just a little over $33,000. So this is an expenditure and a revenue adjustment. Did that change did you estimate that back when you did it in June, kind of guess what it was going to be? Does it change our budget much?
It adds $33,000 to
So
the
we didn't
bottom
have
line.
anything
We,
down.
no, ma'am, we put nothing in it, because I just,
Didn't have a hedge in there, no?
not at all, no,
Okay.
no. So on the E-rate revenue, there might have been a small amount, because sometimes it crosses fiscal years, off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but there might have been a small amount. But I really think the revenue was zero, and I know the expenditure side of things were zero. As far as the overall bottom line, you are adding $33,000 to our deficit, because we're expending $33,000 more than what we're getting in. But we're getting an awful lot of bang for our buck.
That's pretty cheap. So entertain a motion to approve the budget adjustment. Second. Any discussion, questions, comments? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you will. Need a roll call vote on this. Next, we have the approval to pay bills through August of 2018. It's our recommendation to accept those paid bills.
Well, I move we accept the paid bills.
Motion and a second, and I would request to do roll call, please. Ms. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Cantrell?
Yes.
Mr. Boyce?
Yes.
Mr. Cronenberger? Yes. Mr. Stain?
Mr. Cannon, turn over to you for consent agenda items.
All right. Consent agenda items, approval of the following minutes. Executive session, June 6, 2018. Special session, August 9, 2018. Executive session, August 9, 2018. Work session, August 14, 2018. Regular session, August 14, 2018. Executive session, August 14, 2018. Tax hearing, August 28, 2018. Sale of surplus property pursuant to policy DNAB. Acceptance of employee retirement, Mr. Wayne Crater. Ratification of support staff report. Ratification of the substitute teacher report. I will entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
We're done, Mr. Crater's by roll
Sounds like he's leaving whether we approve it or not.
Yeah, but again, he gave us a heads up.
That's what I said. He's not leaving Thursday.
Right.
Yeah, thank you for that. We appreciate it. And thank you for your time.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Keep on fast. Do I have a motion?
I move.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. There's no names, so I guess that approves. And then now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.